Hey, what's up, guys? It's T-Bone here. Welcome to another stream. I'm now back from vacation, and it is also a preview date for Dragons of the Deep event. So I thought I would do another stream here, and again, we'll follow this similar format where we'll talk about the cards, talk about the updates early, so that anybody who's watching the recording can get to the information earlier, and then we can stick around and do some chats. There are a lot of things that have happened in the last day, or I guess in the last 5 hours or so. So definitely want to, talk a bit about some of the changes and some of the reactions and just kind of, get your take on how things are going. So anyways, let's first, I guess I want to talk about the changes to the event here. And so if we take a look at the news feed, what you can see here is that there are a couple of changes. The first one is the Ascended Warden pink star. So this is the big change of this coming event. And basically they now have introduced a way to, I guess, ascend your wardens even more into using pink stars. So if you've already ascended the warden, it's going to go to 1 pink star, and I can actually show that right away. And then they're also going to now introduce a way for you to ascend to 2 and finally 3 pink stars. Now, I guess a lot of people will have problems with the fact that we are now introducing additional pink stars, and just by itself, I guess it's okay. But if you think about the reasons why they're doing this, there are definitely a lot of problems. And we can talk a little bit about that. And specifically, this is about the second pink star defensive skill, Ironclad, where it's going to gain damage resistance every turn in battle, making them harder to defeat as time goes on. So this is the one that I definitely want to talk about, because there are also some things that were mentioned in the network app, which I definitely want to talk about. So just saying hello, I see Duppy here. Hi, welcome. And, with all the things that's happening here, we may not have a lot of players here, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about, the cards as it is. And we can also, maybe answer any questions if anybody else comes online. And so then there's also the Water Legend Relic. So this is the 4th Legend Relic that is out now. And so there is probably a way to get these. So it looks like it's also going to be coming from ultimate bosses. So this is how you're going to be able to earn additional runes for it. And I didn't actually get them last time. And so it's just, it is what it is. It's a second legend relic, second generation relic that is supposed to be really strong against GVG. And it makes sense now with the changes to the Wardens. And just saying hi to Gary. Welcome. I'm just doing some real quick sort of review of the news here, and we're going to talk about the cards. And finally, I think there's a good thing here. So there's a chance for a 3-rune jackpot. So if you open the tier 1 and 2 of either the Master or the Ultra Pack, each of those tiers will have a chance where you can win 3 runes instead of a single one. And so with that, I think that's a good change. I hope everybody gets it, because you need as many runes as we can get to hopefully craft something. And it works well because you get to keep your MCMUR as well for this event, which will actually do, allow you to do really well this event. So if you take a look at the cards here, I'm going to do that now. It's kind of boring, to be honest, because I already covered these exact deck, last time, because this is the same thing as the Fire Giant deck, the dinosaurs. So let's take a look at the cards anyway, and so we can sort of talk about what it's about, and we can talk about some of the things that could help make your deck stronger. And so just looking at the chat here, hello everybody, hello Dumby and Enrique Lopez, welcome. And so the Dragon, this is the Master Collection card. And, this card will create 4 Power Gen 4s. And so it by itself is a pretty good card. And this is the same as the Master Collection card as the Last Fire card. And it has the same, same skill where it gets double while under the effect of a overflow buff. So this is where the buff name is changed. It used to be Smoldering and now it's Overflow. And so if you have that, then it'll create Power Gen 4s. And it also increases Water Commander attack by up to 30% for the next turn after every 3 attacks. So this passive is actually a little bit better than the Fire one, because the Fire one only increased Giant attack, unless they went back and changed. I have to take a look. But this one actually increases Water Commander. So this one is a little bit better in terms of its passive ability, but otherwise it's exactly the same. The only difference here is, the Fire Giant's back in its own event didn't have any killer bonus, but it does now. And so what that means is if you had a team that did really well in that event with just the Master Collection cards, you're going to do even better with this event because of the killer bonus. So that's something to keep in mind. And that's something I'm going to talk about as well in terms of a strategy for the deck itself. And then the ultra rare card, so it creates a power gem 2, basically a single power gem at the start of the next 3 turns. So for every single turn, you're going to get a power gem 2. And then on the 4th turn, it's going to create 3 of them and then also apply the overflow status. So this is the exact same mechanism as the last Fire Commander event, as I mentioned. So there's no surprise here. And the difference now, of course, being that it has the Chaotic Killer. So I guess the interesting thing is, thinking about what the, combined card is going to look like, because both of these sort of don't seem to work well together, because if you look at the Master Collection card, it's got a 5-turn cooldown, and if you act, and so I'm thinking about what the ultimate form is going to look like. And so Titanic Terrors is the ultimate form now. So let's take a look at battle skill here. So it's going to create Water Power Gem 2 for the next 3 turns. So this is the ultra rare skill. And then it will create 3 Power Gem 2s. And then if you're above 50 skill points on the 4th turn, then apply the overflow status for 1 turn and heal. And if overflow is active, those Power Gem 4s are doubled. So every time I read these skills, it makes my head spin. So what this will do is this will create 3 Water Power Gem 2s and 4 Power Gem 4s on the 4th turn. But I think what it's going to do is it's going to apply the overflow status first. And then it's going to convert, it's going to increase the number of Power Gem 4s to 8. If I understood it correctly, that means you activate your battle skill once, and then 4 turns later, it's automatically going to create 8 Power Gem 4s. I think that's how it's going to work. At least that's how it makes sense. And so, yeah, anyways, Pedro, welcome. And Casey, Debbie, Chris, everybody, thank you very much for joining. You're not really late. I started a little bit late. I'm just kind of talking about the cards right now. And right now, I'm just kind of lamenting the fact that this deck is essentially exactly the same as the last, Fire Commander deck, except for some changes and with the ultimate form. And what do you guys think? Like, I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but I think this is how it makes sense to me, that you don't actually need a support card. And what this will do is it's going to activate the overflow status by itself, and then apply the Power Gem 4, sort of the boost to it. So it just makes my head spin a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but I'm just reading this, and this is how I think the card is going to work. And if that's the case, then it's good, because it doesn't need any other card as it should. But if you're going to be forming this card, you're automatically going to get the ultra rare anyway. And so that isn't really going to be a big deal. So you're going to have the ultra rare and you're going to have the Master Collection card. So this combined, you're going to have a ton of Power Gem 4s on the board. And so I don't think it's going to be a problem at all getting the ultra kill or the overkill bonuses at all with this particular deck. And so anyways, so that's what I think. And it's going to also increase the commander attack by up to 30%. So what's interesting here is this is a water dragon team, and there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about as well, but let's just go ahead and talk about the rest of the cards. So the cards that you will be using to get the runes are Askuka and also Crowblade Raidu, and then the Ice Queen. So let's go. I'm just gonna go ahead and collect my runes right now, see what we get. I don't have the Ice Queen, never got her, and I'm not sure, if I really want her, but I kind of need the rune for it. So let's take a look at the support card. So the support card is basically just going to create the gem, a single gem every turn. So this turned out to be a pretty good skill. Actually, I kind of like it, because you won't create so many gems that you end up destroying your power gems. But at the same time, you can always do a match. If you have 2 support cards, you can constantly do a match to power up your skill points, because that's what's needed. You need to get 100 or more skill points in order to apply the overflow status. And so being able to match every turn is going to be important. And let's see if there's anything else here. It doesn't look like... Yeah, so there's no killer skill here. Let's see, there's a killer skill for the event card. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I just want to kind of go over the cards right now, and there are definitely other topics I want to talk about. So if anybody who's just joining me now, one of the things I mentioned first is I kind of want to go over the news and also the changes to the event, and then talk about the cards. I have some other ideas on, like, the cards are going to be really strong, really good. That's kind of a really good synergy to this deck overall. We can cover that, but I do want to also talk about some of the other things that's kind of going around here and get your thoughts and feedback on it. So Malakostra is the event card, and this will create 4 Power Gem 1s and then gets doubled, so it'll create 8 Power Gem 1s if there is the overflow buff, and it doesn't have the killer skill. So I remember the last time, if you so let's just go ahead and take a look here. So last time, what I did in my, let's do Fire Commander, I think it's Giant. So in the last Fire Commander event, I managed to get 2, Master Collection cards. And with this particular setup, I was able to get 100% overkill on the Overkill boss using this with 1 key. All right. And so this is without the overkill, the killer bonus or anything like that. So I think that this deck is going to be even stronger, and is going to be able to get the hit. So I think this is definitely a card that is worth getting. And if you can't get to Master Collection cards, because obviously we have lesser, we have fewer runes now, there are other options as well. So one of the things that obviously we want to think about is the fact that this is a second Commander event. And so another card that'll be really good to pair with this, I think I used Age. I think Power Water Commander. So another really good one is going to be Biolume. So Biolume also creates Power Gen 4s, but it'll create up to 6 once you're at 300 in skill point, but it starts with 2. And if you can get up to 75 Water Commander skill point, you can get 4. So you'll basically like double up the number of Power Gems, Gen 4s. So these 2 cards are going to be really good to combine. And so, there are other options. Now that we're into the sort of the second Commander, Water Commander deck, there are more options here. And I'm just going to take a second, stop here and take a look. So Overflow is first. Yeah, so and then, so Debbie has a question. So with the Stormhammer from the Maelstrom deck, yes. So you're talking about the Relic. So yes, it would. I was actually going to talk about the fact that because it's a water dragon, it's a dragon card, anything that powers dragons will definitely work. And there are other cards that are in the deck right now that could be good for this. Joshua Davis, how would the Water Slayer Killer helping Commander? So the Water Slayer cards, if it has a killer skill, it'll boost the damage of the card itself by 200% if you're at 1 star. And to keep in mind, like in a Commander event, what you get is a damage boost applied to all cards based on the combination of all the Commander bonuses that you get. So if you have 4 Commander cards that are all like, let's say 10 Commanders for this event, you'll get 40 of those Commander bonuses applied to all the cards. So even if you bring in a Slayer card, you're still going to get some boost there. You're not going to get as much boost as you would if you brought in another Commander, but if that card has a killer skill, it would actually be relatively helpful. And so I guess the thinking is, can we bring the Water Slayer Killer from the last event? I think that could be possible as well. So the other things I wanted to talk about, so now just really quickly, some things I was kind of looking at. So if you look at the Water Commander, let's take a look at the Dragon. So back when when we were playing this event, Maelstrom was a really good card because it was the card that really powered up Circassa that would create powered water gems. And so this particular event, this card will work pretty well, I think, because it is also a Commander card. This was one of those cards that became a dual Slayer Commander card. And if you look at the battle skill, what it does is it generates Dragon Intensity, and then for the next 3 turns, it'll increase the Water Affinity's bonus to up to 50%, scaled by Dragon Intensity. Now, it doesn't actually tell you what the scaling is going to be like. It just says up to 50%, so I don't know what intensity you need to get that to 50%. But the keyword here is this will increase the Water Affinity's affinity bonus. All right. And keep in mind that all of our Water Generation 3 cards now, or Generation 3 cards now, have a 10 times affinity bonus. So the way I'm reading this is that if you use this power skill, you're going to increase the, and let's say you get a 50% bonus. That would mean your affinity bonus for your Generation 3 cards will go up to 15 times. So you're essentially gaining additional 5 times bonus to your deck. Now, this is just a guess at this point. I haven't tried it out. But I would say if you have this card, give it a try. And I don't know if they stack. And if they do, this is going to be pretty powerful. And so this is one of those cards that I would definitely want to be trying out. And then there's another card that is a Fire Dragon. It's also a commander. And so if you look at this card, what this will do is based on the intensity. So if you get up to, if you increase your dragon intensity high enough, you can actually increase the attack damage up to 500%. So if you remember, like this already dealt a ton of damage for this deck in when it was Generation 2 card, and the affinity bonus was at 2. So I would imagine this might actually really make a big difference to the Generation 3 cards. But the thing is, and because it uses the Dragon Relic, you can use Dragon Relics to increase the intensity and also power up the card. So this is also another sort of card that's worth trying out. So I'm definitely gonna be taking a look at this, and then we can try it out in my next video. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to cover for this event. Basically, like in terms of the cards themselves, I think that it's a good deck. I just don't like the fact that they tie the overflow buff to the Master Collection card and the event card. Like I like opening up a little bit more so that it's something like, oh, if there is a specific condition that any other card that you have could trigger, then you'll double the number of power gems or something like that. I prefer that rather than tying this event deck so tightly to the cards. And one of the ways, something you can say is that, well, if you form the ultimate form card, then it takes away that restriction. But how many of us are going to be able to successfully get the ultimate form card? That's really sort of the thing, right? So the hope is with the introduction of the jackpot for the runes, I'm hoping that people can. I'm hoping to see more people get more of the Master Collection card and the ultra rare card. And what I didn't see here is the last paragraph here is if you don't hit the rune jackpot in either pack, you're going to receive either a single Master Rune, Ultra Rune, or a Water Essence 5. I kind of wish that they would have just taken out the last one and just say, if you didn't get the jackpot, you're going to earn an additional rune, either a Master Collection card rune or an Ultra Rare rune. But the Water Essence 5 is just like, I wish they didn't include in that. But, it is something a little bit bonus, so that is nice there. Let's see. So, Cedric, I'm not sure if anybody here speaks French. I can read a little bit, but I can't actually speak it. It's been a long time. So Drake Vipo, what about Drake Vipo? So let's see. So the question is, what about Drake Vipo? I think it is a Fable type. So you're not going to really be able to increase the damage for Drake Vipo that much, except what it'll do is it'll increase the recovery, but I don't think this deck increases damage based on recovery there. So I think there are other options as well. Another card that's going to be really good, obviously, is the Procambrias. Procambrias will also, increase the damage taken. So if you have this card, it's another good card to add to your deck. Any Water Commander deck, you should use this if possible. If you don't have any other cards, this is another one that will help boost your overall damage. And so, Hokey Bird, welcome. And let's see, we've got Con William Deep, welcome. So let's see, I'm reading back a little bit. So the runes are definitely on tier 1 and 2. And also, so Ethereal Drake or Bashma will be a good water gem creator. Another option that a lot of people go with is, using Karasu. So Karasu plus the Golden Trickster, if I have it in here. And Dynamite Dougal is another gem spawner that you could probably use, but it's going to be less useful because it powers up human cards, and this is a dragon card. If the next time they have a Water Commander human card, definitely include Dynamite Dougal in there because you're going to be able to deal massive damage there. And so Let's see. So I guess some people have already tried it. I haven't actually given it a try yet. I suppose like what I was gonna do is I was going to wait, but I guess there's really no reason to wait on this. I'm just gonna go ahead and open up the first 2 packs and see what we get. So let's open up pack 1. Keeping my fingers crossed right now for a 3-rune jackpot, but didn't get that. And I believe that is a duplicate. I'm just going to take a look right now. I believe that was a duplicate rune. Yep. It is a duplicate rune. Let's, I guess we'll open up a second tier and see what we get. And let's see here. I didn't get a rune, so instead I got a water essence 5. And so, okay, so now I understand. This is a crappy change in my opinion, because before it was at least a guaranteed rune, and now it's either 1 or 3 or you get nothing. Okay, so now that you've seen it in action, I think that now sort of like, I guess I'm glad I did this, because now you can sort of see, like, I wasn't sure what it meant. I thought what it meant was you'll get something in addition to it. But instead, what I got is another duplicate rune. I got 1 rune in 2 tiers, and then I got a water essence 5, which I don't need. So that to me is not a great change. So personally, I feel like they didn't, I don't know. If they were going to add a chance for a 3 jackpot, then they should have just done it. And instead, what they did was they added a chance for a 3-rune jackpot, and then gave you basically a essence to, as sort of like, hey, if you have bad luck, which I always do, I always seem to have bad luck when I open these packs, you get nothing. So that was kind of unfortunate. And so now you know. And so if you're going in, hopefully you get the 3 or the 1 and not the water essence. Anyways, I'm just gonna take a look at the comments now, and well, let's see what's going on there. So yeah, so you know, I basically opened up two tiers. I got a duplicate rune, got a water essence. I could open up another one later to hope for I don't know. I guess I could hope for an Ice Queen or perhaps the event card, but we'll have to see. I'm gonna hold off for now, and then I'm gonna wait for the event to start, see what I get. I don't have that many gems right there either, so I'm really gonna just kind of see how my my luck goes there. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to reserve some time here and talk about some of the things that you guys wanted to chat about besides just this event. Because there are some changes coming in that I know has a lot of people talking about, and that is the Ascended Warden. Personally, I don't have a big issue with the fact that they wanted to evolve, a Warden's a little bit higher, but the reasoning behind it is something that I don't really disagree with. So I'm going to take a look at the comments here. I think some people may have mentioned that too, as well. So, Con William D, considering that prior to the player celebration events, we had nothing but 2 tiers. This is mildly better. I tend to agree, except it was much better one event before where, you open up 2 tiers and it was 2 runes. Now it's 1 rune and maybe not. I don't know. I guess just because I personally had a bad experience, that's why I'm not liking as much. I'm sure if I got the 3-rune jackpot, that would be a very different story. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Mark Brown, so I know this about the event. What about taking away eternally? Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that for sure after this, because it is also something that you're going to be earning as part of this event. So I think it totally fits within this conversation. So let's see. Yeah, so Essence, for me, it's not a big deal just because I have a lot of it already. I have a lot of Essence 4s just from doing all of the Silver Legend bosses. So by the way, I definitely recommend doing Silver Legend bosses. They give a lot of really good rewards, so definitely go with that. And I see Carius and Gary and Stephanie Lebucan and Casey, welcome to the stream, and thank you and welcome. So yeah, so one of the things that I I heard about the reasoning for why they're introducing this is because they wanted to address the fact that that the 3-star turn delay cards were being used heavily in the guild versus guild fights, and they felt that it was an exploit. The only issue I have with that statement is the usage of the word exploit. The reasoning for that is because the word exploit has a very different meaning for me, right? It means a way of cheating something that wasn't intended, and it's something that gives you an unfair advantage that no one else has. The fact is, these 3-star cards are free. Everybody had it, and this was released by the game team. Us as players, we did nothing differently. We played by the rules, we used the cards, and we were creative with the usage of the turn delay cards to get around the fact that there are some really powerful decks that we work really hard to figure out how to do. I mean, I just did a video on how to take down an Ascended Gem Silence Warden with a turn delay card. Without it, and without the ability to get an immunity card, there is no way to get through that. And so my problem with the reasoning behind it is the usage of the word exploits. It's not an exploit at all. It's us using the cards that we've, that have been given to us. And there is some really, really smart people that, that helped form this strategy, and I'm really thankful for. But, if they're going to make this to the point where if you can evolve it to this, to 2 pink stars, and then everyone is going to start timing out when they use when they use turn delay cards, then I'm not sure how we're going to be able to defeat it anymore. So keep in mind, as it is right now, when you use a turn delay card, it gets close to 30 minutes when you do a guild versus guild fight per card, and 30 minutes is currently the maximum time that you have for for fighting against those cards. And so once you have this Ascended Wardens going up to tier 2nd and 3rd stars, I'm not sure what that's going to mean anymore. I'm not sure what decks will be possible to actually take them out. So I'm going to give them my feedback and thoughts about it. In fact, I actually did give them the exact same feedback about my feelings of how they use the word exploit. So that's my thought. And what do you think? I'm going to take a look at the comments and see what you guys think as well. And so, so Stephanie got the 2 tiers and also duplicate essence. Yeah, sorry about that. And let's see. So like Casey said, like the turn delayers, they aren't taken away. It's just that using it is, I'm not sure what that means, because if they start taking less and less damage over time, how much longer is it going to take for us to take down the defenders? That's really the question there. And since the health resets, like if you get defeated, then it gets reset back to 100% again, then it doesn't really work anymore unless they change GVG so that if you chip the health down low enough, somebody else can come in and take out the warden again. Like that might be another way, but that's basically just 30 minutes per player per boss. And I don't think that's a great idea either. So I'm waiting to see what that's, for other feedback and see what they do with that. And let's see, I need ice cream for the middle one. Yeah, so the ice queen is needed for me as well to get the runes, but right now I'm just going to wait and see what I get. I'm gonna play through the event and see how it goes. I think I'm hopeful I can get the Master Collection card. I do like it, and it looks like I can probably craft two runes, so I'm just hoping to get lucky there. And let's see, Fairly Codard, welcome, and Be Like Billy, hello. Has anyone tried to get the historical cards in Dust Store? So let's see. So yeah, that's a good question. So which of these cards are available in the Dust Store? I will say that Raidu is not going to be available, and neither is Askuka. So Askuka currently isn't, I don't believe, available in the Dust Store. The only one that's available is going to be the Ice Queen, but because the Ice Queen was an ultra rare card, it has a much lower chance of dropping. And so while you can definitely try for it, it's not likely you're going to get it within a few pulls. You have to get really lucky for that to appear. And so this is one of the avenues, but because of how rare the pink dust is now, not something I would recommend if you don't have a ton of them. All right, so the question here, Joshua Davis, what do I think about what is going on with the Hellboy on the 25th? I honestly don't know. I saw the pop up, but I don't know what it actually means. So yeah, in the dark there. It could be a collaboration with the movie that's about to come out, but the next event is a Dark Slayer event, I think. So I'm not sure what it's going to be like. I would have thought that maybe it would have been a fire boss or a fire card, but yeah, I'm not sure. And let's see. Do I think that, so curious, do I think that my video sparked that? If it did, then I do apologize, but honestly, it's just, I wanted to share the knowledge for how, a lot of people know about this, but not everybody. And I think that this was in the works for a while now. The fact that they introduced this, I would imagine that it's not because of the video. I would imagine that this is something that it was in the works for a little bit longer than that. My video, I think that was kind of long overdue. I do have others that have planned out. It's just I didn't want to feature the immunity cards because not everybody can get it. But the turn delay cards, that's something that everybody has access to, and that's why I chose to do that one instead. And let's see. So Enrique, you copied the deck and it worked. Take down, ascend it. Yeah. Feel free to practice on my Warden. So you can see right now my cards. All right, so this is the deck right now. You can see it's got one star on it because I had ascended it, and you can go up to level 100. So and if you try to evolve it, now we have to get these ascended Warden Stone, which can earn in the event, and it uses the same Blackout Bastion. So it's gonna take me a long time to get to the point where I can ascend another Warden, and so I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, feel free to practice here, give it a try and let me know. And one thing I forgot to mention, if you have, I think there's the Storm Cudgel that actually decreases the drop rate of their weak affinity gems. If you're using a dark team, although there's not a dark gemfall really, so if you're going up against a water team and it has a Storm Cudgel, the drop rate might be decreased if you're using the team that I showed. So just kind of be mindful of that. GVG fights timeout after 90 minutes. So I guess I've never gone that long. So I guess if you went close to 30 minutes per boss after 90 minutes itself, it'll just time out completely. I didn't know about that, so thanks for the information. Okay, and yeah, so I'm just kind of just following up on the comments again. So Duppy, can you do a video on taking down Frenzied bosses? Sure, I don't usually do that, but I guess I could do it in the next Slayer event where we can talk about the different frenzies and the teams that you can use. I think that's a pretty good idea. And yeah, so Macrine, Yoran, Guru, Jim, Jombray, and Hustle. Yep, so that's very similar to the team I use as well. So there are definitely different team combinations besides just the Gemfall, but the Gemfall is definitely a good one. And to take down Alacrity Warden, that is going to require a different card than using Yoran. And that's the one I was talking about where I can do it. I could definitely take on Alacrity because I have the card to do it, and that is the immunity card. So the card I'm using to take down the Alacrity is, let's do Earth, and then we'll do Power the weakest first. The one I use is the Deep Boss Jaguar because you gain immunity every single turn as long as you have 24 gems. So then turn delay doesn't actually matter. Alacrity doesn't matter to Deep Moss, and so it's essentially the same thing, except it only lasts for one turn, so it's a lot more less forgiving. If you can't match 24 gems every turn, you will lose. So that is the reason why I didn't feature it, just because not everybody can get it. I can showcase it, but then it doesn't really help anybody who can't get that card. But I'll definitely consider that as well. So Paxton, where do you get the Blackout Bastion, other catalysts to send a Warden? Blackout Bastion, those are mostly just part of the guild, the sort of the rewards after an event. But each event, they give out different Bastion shards. And so some events will be Blackout and some events will be different. And sometimes they do come out with packs that you can purchase as well. And so that's something that you can get. I think I missed a comment here. Mark Brown, Wendigo deck should be good for this event. Also interesting that the last Water Slayer you have has the same killer skill as needed in this event. Yeah, so that's a good point. I didn't actually pay attention to that. So let's do Water type Elf. So what you're saying is that this event's killer skill, which is, I believe, on Noble Killer. So is it Noble Killer this event? I didn't think it was. So let's take a look here. So Titanic. So the killer skill is Chaotic Killer. But so it's different. It's actually different killer skill, but the sometimes they have different bosses. So I'm not sure which one is going to come out to. But I think that if you have the ultimate form cards, it can still be used if you're looking for some other cards. And the ultimate form card from the last Slayer event is pretty good. So you can definitely use that. Let's see if there's any other do it, show us please. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do it in this particular stream, but I'll probably make it into a video, and then we can talk about different decks. And so yeah, so Hoki, there are so he's already mentioned like Morte Thronos also works really well for Alacrity, so thank you for that. So Jay Scott, do you think the blue Slayer deck that had the ultimate card in the event? Yeah, so I was already mentioned. So killer skills are both killer skills for this. Yeah, so I think that you can definitely give it a try. I will definitely give it a try as well, just because it is a card that can do pretty good damage, and it the battle skill will also create multiple but you need more water slayers. Really, the battle skill only applies to Slayer cards, and so that's something that we can I'm not sure. It's one of those like we can theory craft, but I think that it's definitely an option. And let's see. So I think that's pretty much all the comments there. Yeah, so here's my thoughts about this event. And the one I'm going to do some kind of wrap up here. There's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of conversations about. Oh, okay. So the Guardian of Islam. So that I missed that. So I apologize. I completely misunderstood. Yes. Given that it's chaotic, it's going to be also applied to this particular event. I think it's a good card that you can use, and it will create power gems. It's just that it has a dependency on the Slayer, Water Slayer skill point. So that means you're going to create less power gems, but I think that's not really the point. The point is you can apply the killer skill. So yes, that is the one. If you have the ultimate form, then you should definitely be able to use that as well. So you can get some there. So there's another comment. The Warden changes are to force relevance on Dragoons. And yeah, we know that they're also looking at ways to ascend your Dragoons. So I think that it all goes hand in hand. And so here's my thoughts, right? So I think that it's going to be a little bit easier, I think, this event to get the... I don't think it's going to be too hard to get the Ultra Kill and the Overkill if you can get the Master Collection card at least, given all the other cards that you can use to combine with this particular deck. And also just, I don't know what that's going to mean for people in Legends League. I remember last time I was in Legends League when Ultimate Form cards were out, it was really hard to stay afloat. And so how that's going to translate down into Emperors and others, I don't know. But I expect that it would be interesting to see. And the introduction of the Ascendant Wardens, now that, guild versus guild fights are not in just yet. So when it starts, what that's going to do and how it's going to impact the... how that is going to impact the results, I don't know, but I just kind of wish that they would think, I wish they communicated this a little bit earlier and gotten some feedback about it, because I don't think it's necessary or a great change, to be honest with you. So that's just how I feel about it. And this change to the rune jackpot would have been a great thing. It would have been an awesome thing, because I expected it to be, a low chance for a jackpot, because that's the term is it's a jackpot, right? So I would have been okay with it having a very low, with a low chance for getting it, but to then take away the guarantee of one and replacing it with a water essence, to me, that is a negative in my opinion. And so a couple of bad points for this event for me. But otherwise, I'm hoping for a good event overall, and hope that it's going to be enjoyable for you as well. And so Enrique Lopez question: which kind of cards are more strong, Slayers or Commander? They're a little different. I think that you're going to get a ton more damage from your Slayer cards because of the fact that it's a 10 times plus another 10 times bonus for a card, and then the ultimate form and everything. So per card, you're going to get more of the trillions side, whereas Commander, you're not going to see as much. The health of the bosses in Commander are typically a little bit lower, but they're boosted differently. So it's really hard to say. So if you're looking at just purely output, of the damage, then Slayers will be it. But Commander is nicer because you can boost the whole team. So that's the way to think about it as well. So can I help you? Yeah, so if you have questions on making a deck, I've got feel free to reach out to me in the event in the network app. If I have time, I'll definitely take a look. And also on Thursdays, I will be doing a stream where I will actually go and take a look at different people's cards, and we will go through deck building together live on Thursday. So just hold off on that thought. Message me again on Thursday when I do my stream, and then I can definitely help you out, me and anyone else as well. So the goal is Thursdays, I'm going to just do deck building, and I'm going to do live deck building with anybody who needs help. And Tuesdays, I'm going to talk about the event preview and also, just kind of have a general discussion with people. And I'm hoping to do something in between as well, where I could do maybe more of a card mechanic, but I haven't figured out just sort of how I'm going to get around to doing that and also the timing for it. So anyways, that's all for today's episode. Thanks a lot for spending time here and chatting about this. So again, look for me in the network app or join my chat if you want. It's T-Bone LGOH chat. Join me there. We'll have conversations there, and we can talk about the events as well. So again, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for your time. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.